All right, and for more on this, we're now joined by City of Cape Town Safety and Security MMC, JP Smith, and he joins us now via our video link. JP, thank you so much for your time this evening here on SABC News. I mean, in the fight against crime, you as the City of Cape Town, along with the Western Cape government and national government, have now signed this MOU. And of course, this is in efforts of fighting crime.
Absolutely. It marks I think, quite historic occasion in that we work together at grassroots level with SABC. Obviously, a lot. There's good operational coordination by and large, but there are key sticking points, things that prevent us from effectively collaborating around the recognition of certain powers, the sharing of data, the sharing of crime intelligence, the lack of modernization that SABC has been exposed to, agreements around command and control and organizational structures or coordinating structures. And these 13 elements are contained as an agreement. We have been for some time trying to hook this through. I think we started 6-7 years ago with a discussion. 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago, we started drafting the Safer Cities Agreement. And when Minister Nkunu reached out to us and said, let's translate this into a formal agreement, we had that Safer Cities Agreement ready. And I think that must set some kind of record in government, because within 3 weeks we had migrated that from a draft to a final document signed today in front of many witnesses. And I think a fairly important step that we've taken together.
And of course, I mean, these three spheres of government will all be working together. And I mean, you speak about grassroots level. You know, when it comes to how this will be on the ground, especially for the residents of the Western Cape, what does that mean for them, you know, once these three spheres are working together to ensure that, of course, you know, crime is being tackled in the Western Cape?
So I think I should again repeat it. It's not that we're not working together. That happens on a certain level all the time. We do joint operations, integrated operations. We participate in task teams, but there are distinct limitations imposed by the history of these organizations and our different mandates and powers. What this agreement does do is formally commit the three spheres of government to working together to exchange data, to exchange intelligence, to share technologies, to harmonize our command structures and the structures where we coordinate, for instance, important things that affect the lives of many residents in our country and also in Cape Town, who are held hostage by the actions of small groups of criminals in extortion syndicates that pester formal and informal businesses, the transport sector, the extortion mafia, and in Cape Town also the gangs, which in the 16 gang stations cause a lot of misery. This does create a more an agreement as to how we will work together on that, and closes some of the loops which previously, without the political guidance that has now been given through this agreement, was absent.
And I mean, you mentioning a number of important crimes, which we saw being reported a bit earlier on by the minister as well. But when it comes to, you know, the major problem facing the Western Cape and Cape Town in particular, being the issue around gang violence, how effective will this be in the fight against gang violence in the Western Cape?
So the state president made an important comment today. During his speech, he said we must translate arrests into convictions, something that I've been saying for many years. And our conviction rate is low. For gang murder, it's around 2%, 2.5%. So that's incredibly low. And those are good odds for gangsters to carry on committing crime, knowing that the chances of them being convicted for a gang-related violence or a murder is incredibly low. We have to improve that. And it is clear that SABC have some very significant challenges with the resources available to them. They have started doing some more assertive recruitment, but it's going to take a long time to catch up with the backlog of under-resourcing that they said, especially in the space of detectives and on the side of the NPA with the prosecutors. There are spaces here where the city can help. We've recruited significant number of investigating staff, significant number of analytical staff, information management staff, and we're able to support and work with SABC in a very focused, very targeted, prosecutorially driven process around these gang figures, as we did very successfully with the kidnapping for ransom, where we collaborated, and as we've now started to translate into the extortion space, On the gang issue, we can do more, we can work together better, and the city can play more of a role in information management and the investigations and aiding SABS better with the significant investment we've made in technology, which SABS does not normally have access to.
I mean, you speak about very important things here. I mean, data analysis, intelligence also being roped in, to assist, whether it is the city of Cape Town as well as the province. At the same time, how confident are you that this will indeed yield, to the effectiveness of making those, arrests and ensuring that, you do get down to the bottom of crime matters in the Western Cape?
That's a hard question to answer, but I can only tell you based on the commitment I've seen with Minister Mchunu, his two deputies, the senior SAPS and staff, and their response to this, and our own commitment. I can speak truthfully about our own commitment. I know that we are deeply committed to this. We've asked for it for a long time. We really want this to work. We will do everything in our power as the city to make it work. I know province is likewise committed. So on this matter, I'm confident that we will put everything in it. We want to serve our residents. We want to bring crime down. We don't want Cape Town to feature in any list of violent cities around the world, nor does any other city in South Africa want to be in that space. So there's a deep commitment to making it work. There are simple things that we can do to help. For instance, in the last month alone, we've given them access to the Browns Farm facility for them to open a police station there, as they could not previously find facilities through Public Works nationally. They're about to take occupation of the Mfuleni facility we've given them for the same reason. And on the challenges they have with their hand radio network, we can definitely loop them into ours, especially starting with some of their specialized functions. So I think that there are distinct areas where the city can be of significant assistance to SAPS. And reciprocally, we have applied for the expansion of our peace officer powers that will further upskill our traffic law enforcement and metro police officials, not just in Cape Town, but for the entire South Africa, as we achieved in 2018 with the expansion of our powers then through the National Minister of Justice. We can again now augment those powers further and be of greater assistance to SAPS. And in all municipalities around South Africa, those local authorities can play a bigger role. So if I just look at the 300 plus firearms in this last year alone that Metro Police took off the streets. In the previous assessment we saw in the previous financial year, only 0.89% of those firearms led to a conviction of those firearm arrests. That's deeply disappointing. This closer working relationship with SAPS and their detectives and the acknowledgement of the role the city can play would see us be able to increase that conviction rate significantly, making sure those shooters do not return to the street and are not able to continue to terrorize the communities which they have.
All right, MMC, thank you so much for your time this evening. That's MMC in the city of Cape Town for safety and security. JP Smith there just giving us his insight in terms of that MOU that has been signed by national government along with the Western Cape and the city of Cape Town. Of course, this is in the efforts of crime fighting.